Seychelle Van Poole here, and I am actually here with our marketing director, Tony Kennard, with Van Poole Properties, and we're going to take a couple minutes and talk about some questions that we're getting a lot from our friends, our clients, and we thought they might be helpful for you guys too. So Tony, I'm going to let us jump in, and we're going to have a little conversation. Thanks for joining us, and I hope it helps you.
Sounds good. Let's start broad.
Okay.
So given the current situation, how is COVID-19 affecting the market right now?
Gosh, you know what's interesting is when there are times of uncertainty, most people tend to freeze, right? And that's what we're seeing right now is everybody's impulse when there's uncertainty is just this moment of like, oh, I don't know what to do with myself, right? It's kind of that Will Ferrell, like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And what we're seeing is that's actually not what's happening in the market. What we're seeing is on average anywhere from 2,800 to 3,300 homes a week are going under contract, meaning buyers are putting anywhere from 2,800 to 3,300 homes under contract every week. But the interesting part that I'm finding is that we're hearing sellers saying, well, I'm just going to wait until this calms down. And what that's doing is actually only anywhere from 1,700 to 1,800 homes are going on the market each week. And so we're actually creating a shrinking inventory, which means that sellers actually have a better, more captive audience for buyers right now than we believe that they are going to coming out of this. When everybody goes back to work, people are distracted, trying to catch up with everything that they didn't get done during this time. We actually think it's going to be a less advantageous seller situation once we get through shelter in place.
Gotcha. So given that, and I think you pretty much covered it there, but I would follow up to that by just making sure saying, is now a good time to sell my house?
So what I hear you saying is two things on that, Tony. The first is, can I safely sell my house?
Yes.
And hi, Ziggy. And he's like, is it a good time? I need to know. So can I, yeah, inquiring Ziggies want to know. I think that the first question of that is, can I safely sell my house? And then the second question of that is it a good time? So I think the first part of that is safety and health are the most important parts. And so with our team, like when all of this happened, we completely reinvented our business 4 weeks ago and had to figure out how to create an opportunity for virtual walkthroughs, 360 walkthroughs, enhanced floor plans, list of updates and upgrades. We've even done FaceTime or Zoom video walkthroughs with our buyers agents, or sellers, and the seller's agent. So we've really been very innovative with how to create a safe environment to safely see homes before you're having to walk into them. And then the homes that you're going into are the ones that you're really sure about, you're really serious about. And so instead of seeing 7 to 10 houses, you're maybe seeing 1 to 2, but they're the 1 or 2 that foot the bill on everything that you want. So I think that's kind of an amazing thing that's come out of this, is we're really maximizing buyer and seller's time and energy, and we can take a lot of that workload on. Is it a good time to sell? I would say, I always look at it, if this were my home, right now we're looking at putting my home on the market sometime this year. I think it would be a really sad situation if somebody is considering selling their home this year and they're not seriously considering putting it on the market right now. And because we have 3,300 homes a week going under contract and only 1,800 a week replenishing that, you're creating a limited inventory in which buyers have to choose. And at the same time, we know normally there's 1,000 more buyers out there looking for homes than they are today. And so buyers actually have fewer competition for houses than they will more than likely in the next 60 to 90 days. So yes, I think it is when everybody freezes, that's actually when, if you're smart, you should be putting your foot on the pedal and leaning in.
Fantastic. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I know it's counterintuitive. It really is. Like, I understand that. But if you look at the facts are saying it's a good time to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that I've heard a lot about lately has been the instant offer programs. And so I was wondering, if I want an instant offer on my home, is that something that's still available to me?
Right. That's a great question, Tony. are instant offers available, and is that something I should consider? Instant offers, if you've heard of them, like it's get a guaranteed cash offer on my home, right? That's kind of the phrasing you hear a lot. And in the past, it has been, in the past meaning 30 days ago, the people that were buying these houses were Zillow was making instant offers, Redfin was making instant offers, Compass was making instant offers, Open Door were making instant offers, so is Keller Williams. And so there's several companies out there making instant offers. And in the last 30 days, Zillow has stopped making instant offers, Redfin has stopped making instant offers, Compass has stopped making instant offers, and so has Open Door. So really, it's kind of amazing to be a part of a company like Keller Williams because we're privately owned and we aren't beholden to shareholders that have to have a return on their money right now. It's really all about the consumer and the customer and what's best for them. So we have a private network of investors that we've aggregated over the last 10 years that are still making offers. And we have investors, if you're interested in investing, let us know because we're still making offers. And Keller Offers is still making offers. So really, it's through a Keller Williams agent and an expanded option with Van Poole Properties, right, with Keller Williams, that we are still making instant offers on properties and actually had one accepted last week through that program. But yeah, the majority of them have gone away, which is really interesting.
Very interesting. And that's good to know. And congratulations on the sale.
Hey, yeah, thanks. It's a great client of ours. And he didn't want to go traditionally on the market. He would rather sell to an investor and not have to have the hassle of that. And so it was a great option for him. Yeah,
fantastic to have the option. So let's go back. Now that we know that is a possibility for us, say I choose to sell my home with a realtor. How am I expected to attract buyers to my listing?
That is such a good question. So this is the time that I actually really love when we're in challenging markets, because this is when who you work with matters the most. I always tease that in a hot market, most agents can do what we call the 3 Ps of real estate, right? Which are put the home, put a sign in the yard, put the home on MLS, and then pray that it sells. And oftentimes they get lucky enough that happens. But right now, this is where your professional that's working for you or the real estate consultant for you matters more than ever. So we're drawing buyers in. We have a whole pre-market strategy before you hit the MLS. And because we're part of a network of 4,000 agents under the same brokerage, we have a lot of things that we can do that most brokers can't. We have a really strong marketing strategy once you hit the market. You're on over 150 websites. And we're doing a lot of things very innovatively to make sure that buyers aren't having to walk through your home first. They're really heavily vetted before they're walking through your home. And then I think this is where relationships matter. So like Erica, our listings manager, who's a licensed realtor, right? She used to help run Champion School of Real Estate. She knows every realtor in town. And so we've really prided ourselves on the last 20 years worth of real estate experience and building a strong reputation and giving back to the real estate community and building great relationships so that we know that when people have questions or they're a little uncertain, we can help walk them through that process and build consumer confidence on both sides of the fence. So it's definitely who you work with matters more than ever.
Gotcha. You're hired. Okay.
Thank you, Tony.
So now that I've hired a realtor and I want to put my home on the market, in this given market and with everything going on, am I expected to be making improvements to my house prior to listing it? Is there any best practice in regards to that?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. In uncertain times like right now, like you and I were teasing a little earlier, right? Like this is our first pandemic. Yeah. We've never been through a pandemic before. I mean, I don't know about any of you guys, but this is my first pandemic. I know it's Tony's. So, I think when times are uncertain, people give more grace. They're willing to be more accepting. Just like, our friend Ziggy here is hanging out as we're having our little fireside chat, right? Like, I think buyers are willing to give more grace than they were willing to 5 weeks ago or 30 days ago. And so if there are things that you were hoping to do to your home for at the market, but you haven't had the time to do, I think buyers are willing to understand that that's the case. I will tell you, we had home hit the market this last week though, and we were able to efficiently and safely, because real estate is still an essential service, we were able to get our contractors in and out very efficiently, very quickly, and effectively to make sure that we were getting some of those updates done for that seller. So that is an option, but I would say by and large, buyers are willing to give some grace.
Good to know. Yeah. Now, once I go under contract with a buyer, find somebody to buy my house, how does the inspection process work right now?
Oh my gosh. We're reinventing real estate as we go. And so, buyers, sellers, inspectors, and appraisers all have different forms that they're adding. We have different addenda we've added to contracts. Just itch away, buddy.
In the itch.
Okay, gotta scratch the itch. It's during the inspection process, what we're finding is normally a buyer would come for the report after the inspection. We're seeing a lot more inspectors do a Zoom of that right now. But I think it still is really important for buyers to know what they're getting in a product. But most of the inspectors we know are checking their temperature, they're signing waivers, they are being extremely cautious with face masks and gloves and all sorts of booties and different things to make sure that whatever they are doing in a home, they are being as safe as possible. And then I think this is where also, disinfectant and Clorox are your friends. So even if you are a seller and an inspector's been through your home, I still think it's important to do a deep clean afterwards just to be extra safe.
Good to know. Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. So those are some specific questions that I had, and I wanted to just finish off with a kind of a catch-all question just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So when talking about listing my home, what are some mistakes that I should avoid?
Oh, way to ask the question that ends all questions.
Yeah. We'll be here for a while, right?
Yeah. How much time do you have? No, I'm teasing. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make is not paying attention to the track record of the person that they're hiring, or the team that they're hiring. One thing that I'm so thankful for is that everybody on our team is a licensed realtor for a reason. And they all have very specialized jobs for a reason, because I want a subject matter in every single part of the real estate experience. And I don't know about all of you, but I'll tell you, there are things that I am fantastic at during the real estate transaction, and there are things that are not my strong suit. And if I didn't have a subject matter expert like Erica helping to get our sellers on the market and dotting every T, dotting every I and crossing every T, or Kristen during, the home contract process, making sure the appraisers are doing what they're doing and the lenders are doing what they're doing. We're just finding that the real estate process is a lot more wiggly right now and loose. I mean, lenders are changing their guidelines daily. And so by having on average 20 to 30 homes under contract at a time, we're seeing the trends, because we're seeing it 4 or 5 times in a row. It's not like, oh, well, that was just one bad experience or one person that doesn't know what they're doing. It's like, oh no, that's these 3 lenders doing major changes, right? Or the appraisers, now we know how to work through the appraisal piece, or the inspections, or the repairs, or the buyer's agents, or the listing agents. We're seeing it in such real time, in mass, that we see the trends a lot faster than a lot of other people do. And so I think just really paying attention to how many homes somebody has sold, how many do they have under contract right now, what is their track record, how are they reinventing the wheel and getting creative, I just think is really, really important, more than ever now.
That's great feedback. And I assume that works for buyers as well, correct?
I think it works across both. I mean, it's been incredible to watch our buyers agents and market specialists get creative with how to narrow the home pool from 12 or 15 houses to really knocking it out of the park with 1, 2, or 3. I'm blown away at the level of due diligence that they're doing, and they've always done it, but they're able to do it in the other agents are that much more willing to give information now. So they're able to get such information for our clients up front before someone ever has to walk through a house, to make sure that they're making an educated decision on the property instead of hoping that this house might be the right fit. And so they're really walking in eyes wide open, very knowledgeable about the house before they ever have to step foot in it. And I think that's really cool. I hope that's something that we get to keep and that our industry adopts across the board, because we've always done it that way, but it's really exciting to see our industry changing that way too.
Absolutely. It's a great process. So those are all of my questions. Thank you for answering them for me. And I've learned a lot during this time.
Yeah, well, Tony, thanks for joining me today. And we hope you guys learned something too. And if we can be a resource for you at all, we're here to help. And no question is a silly question right now, because again, this is all of our first pandemic. So we're learning together. But if we can help you at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to do anything we can to assist.